Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. In today's video, we look at the Season 1 episode where you realize it's a sad day when the middle child has to be the responsible adult to both his younger and older sisters, and what a mess it is. Today's episode is titled Serial Offender. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into it. The episode begins with Lincoln wanting to get the new zombie brand cereal. He makes a deal with his mom that if he can do the grocery shopping by himself and save money on the tightly budgeted list, he can get his cereal. When his sisters tag along with him to the store, Lincoln successfully manages to save enough money for his cereal, but he has to put an end to the antics being caused by his sisters and a kid dressed just like him, or else they'll be kicked out. Unfortunately, he and his sisters do end up getting kicked out, and Lincoln doesn't get the cereal he worked so hard to get. In the end, the Loud sisters apologize to their brother by getting him his zombie brand as their way of owning up to their behavior in the store. Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. I know a lot of fans really liked the first season, and there are some great episodes in that one, but this certainly isn't one of them. Even after a few years, Serial Offender still comes off as one of the lowest rated episodes on my list, and no amount of nostalgia for the humble beginnings of Season 1 is enough for me to rate it very high. For the most part, nearly every character in this episode is very unlikable. There are the exceptions like Lincoln, and I really felt bad for him in this episode. He wanted to prove he was responsible, and then all of his efforts went up in smoke. Why he would work so hard for healthy cereal as opposed to something loaded with sugar is kinda weird, but hey, give the kid some credit for caring about his digestive system. I also have to say I can't be mad at characters like Bobby and the store manager. They didn't really do anything wrong and they were just doing their jobs, so I can't fault them for that. As far as that bratty Lincoln lookalike goes, no comment. Of course, I do have a lot of comments on the rest of Lincoln's family, and they are what drove this episode down. Remember when Lynn said they would help him shop? Well, when they get to the store, they're doing anything but helping. They're making messes and causing a scene, and it's their behavior that led to everyone getting kicked out. I get what this episode was trying to do. Teach responsibility in being able to handle a trip to the store while keeping a bunch of kids under control, but you see, that's where the conflict became very mind-boggling when you realize Lincoln had to play the big brother to all of his sisters, even his older ones. I mean, if this was just Lincoln and his younger sisters, and maybe Lynn, I wouldn't have been so critical. However, the fact Lincoln had to be the one to keep his older sisters from acting up was not in good taste. It didn't work out so well for him in the No Guts, No Glory episode, and it's the same episode that proved who needs to be in charge when the parents aren't around, and that would be Lori. The eldest sibling made it very clear in No Guts, and even in the series premiere, that she takes charge whenever their mom and dad are gone, and yet she didn't do that here. All she's doing is fawning over the artist formerly known as Boo Boo Bear. Granted, she wasn't being rambunctious like her other sisters, but she wasn't stepping up as the responsible adult she bragged about time and time again, and it doesn't help knowing she got involved in the scuffle just before everyone got kicked out. But you know, I would have been willing to forgive everything, every last bit of what happened, had it not been for what was said, and more importantly, not said, during the car ride home. Lincoln tries to explain how what happened in the store wasn't his fault, because it actually wasn't any of his fault, and his mom doesn't want to hear about it. She lays into him that he couldn't handle the shopping, and yet he's not given the chance to explain how he got everything on the list and still had money left over for his cereal. I didn't understand why none of Lincoln's sisters, specifically the older ones, didn't speak up in defense of their brother. He wasn't the one trying to free the animals, he wasn't the one trying to freeze himself, and he got screwed out of his reward when his sisters tried to take away his zombie brand after he told them about the deal he made with their mom. Rather than take accountability for their actions when they were in the car, they waited until they got home to say something. Maybe they talked to their mom off screen? I guess, but it still comes off as too little too late. The only redeeming thing about the Loud sisters is they bought Lincoln's zombie brand and still owned up to what they did. Considering what he had to go through just to get one box of cereal cereal, I say this kid is entitled to at least 9 boxes. Overall, this episode really doesn't stack up too well compared to a lot of other episodes from the first season. The Loud sisters, especially Lori and Lynn, did the exact opposite of helping like they said they would. Lincoln proved he can be a responsible shopper, and even if the scene in the car was very disappointing when certain things were said and certain things weren't being said, the girls do make it up to their brother and all was forgiven. Again, while I do appreciate the story for the kind of lesson it wanted to present, how the plot got from point A to point B comes off as underwhelming and in poor taste. With that said, I give Serial Offender a 4 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Serial Offender. Technically, this is one of those having your cake and eating it too episodes, but just remember, Lincoln was a man on a mission and had everything gone the way it was supposed to, and if he didn't have to play the babysitter for sisters older than him, it would have been one of his most successful missions. So what did you guys think of it? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.